Welcome to the Hockey History Storyteller Podcast. This is the podcast where you can learn about past players, coaches, teams, leagues, and events. The game we know and love today was created from our past. I'm your host, Andy Courtwright. This is Episode 7, Doug Harvey, the first offensive defenseman. Doug Harvey was born in 1924 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and had an amazing NHL career in which he influenced the future of the game in multiple ways. He started his National Hockey League career in the 1947-48 season with the Canadiens. He played 14 years in Montreal, 3 seasons with the Rangers, 2 games with Detroit, and 1 oddly full playoff and regular season with St. Louis. He played 1,113 games, scored 88 goals, and racked up 452 assists. Doug Harvey's list of accomplishments is lengthy. He was the NHL's top defenseman, winning the Norris Trophy 7 times, a 13-time All-Star, and won 6 Stanley Cups. After he retired, he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1973 and had his number 2 retired by the Montreal Canadiens in 1985. Doug Harvey is widely considered to be the NHL's first offensive defenseman. His style of play led to players like Bobby Orr, Dennis Potvin, Paul Coffey, Nick Lidstrom, and Erik Karlsson. Harvey was a puck control player. His stick handling allowed him to control the puck for lengthy periods of time. He took chances with the puck but was rarely caught out of position or made a costly mistake. Given all that, he was a tough D-man in his own zone, and it was difficult for people to get past him. Harvey quarterbacked a powerful Montreal power play unit that regularly scored 2 or more goals on a single power play. The Canadiens' prowess on the power play forced the league to adapt the rulebook. In the summer of 1956, the NHL created a new rule that allowed the penalized player to return to the ice after the power play unit scored a goal. Doug Harvey was a loyal teammate. He often passed up numerous scoring chances on his own, instead picking up assists while helping teammates reach financial incentives tied to goal scoring. The Montreal Canadiens won 5 Stanley Cups with Harvey between 1956 and 1960. 4 of those seasons he won the Norris Trophy. After his career with the Canadiens, Doug Harvey battled alcoholism and bipolar disorder. He tended to alienate ownership in an era when players towed the company line. Montreal sent Harvey to the Rangers in 1961, and he won the Norris again in his first season in the Big Apple. In 1956, Ted Lindsay and Doug Harvey led the effort to create the first players' union. They were furious that the owners had not matched the pension funds. By 1960, the union dissolved. Doug Harvey was named captain of the Canadiens by his teammates for his final season in Montreal. After 3 seasons in New York, Harvey bounced around the minors for several years before attempting an NHL comeback with the Detroit Red Wings in 1966. He only played 2 games in the Motor City. Another comeback was more successful. Harvey joined the St. Louis Blues in time for the 1968 playoffs and helped them reach the finals. He came back to the Blues the following regular season at age 44, but he left the team before the playoffs started. NHL President John Ziegler said Harvey was, quote, one of the game's truly great performers and contributors who brought a new dimension to his position and to the game. Harvey once said he couldn't rate himself as a player because, quote, I've never seen myself play, unquote. However, former Canadiens teammate Jean Beliveau was more than happy to rate him. Beliveau called Harvey, quote, the best defenseman I've ever seen, unquote. Howie Meeker, a former Toronto Maple Leaf player, said Harvey was, quote, early Bobby Orr, except he did it in semi-slow motion, unquote. And, quote, you always knew what was coming. You could see it happening. You couldn't do anything about it. If he had Orr's legs, he would have been in that class. He was anyway, but he couldn't accelerate like Orr. Doug was more like a Mack truck, unquote. In the next episode, we feature Dave Keon, one of the best, if not the best, ever to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank you for listening to the Hockey History Storyteller Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast platform. Also, please share with your hockey pals. Feel free to leave a comment or email ideas for future episodes to me at hockeystoryteller@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at hockeystorytell, Instagram hockeystoryteller, and Facebook also hockeystoryteller. The Hockey History Storyteller theme music was composed and performed by Lauren Clapp. Lauren is available at lauren.clapp2004@gmail.com. That's Clapp with 2 P's followed by 2004. See show notes for details.